Bay with Good Morning Bay.
Get to know about the traffic on your way and what's news around the world today.
Some wisdom skills along the way.
Oh, and a song to hum along with and sway.
Get your perfect entertaining start to the day.
At 9 a.m. every weekday morning with
Mahima's
Good Morning Bay.
आप सभी लोग हमारी तरफ से एक प्यार भरा नमस्ते
नमस्कार
वनकम
नमस्कार
खुशामदीद
Assalamualaikum.
सत श्री अकाल
మీకు అందరికీ వందనము.
जय स्वामी नारायण
जय श्री कृष्ण.
जय जनेन्द्र
And हमारे इस्माइली भाई बंधुओं को बोलते हैं याली मदद.
मुलाली मदद बोलते हुए सारे फीजी मतलब बोलेंगे नीसा मुला बनजन हम आ गए हैं आपके प्यारे महिमा के द्वारे मैं से फालतू बाबा.
And of course myself फालतू रानी लेकर आपके लिए एक और drive time show that's going to make it totally exciting, totally mastani and make you go, whoa, it's Good Morning Bay. It's Fantastic Friday.
Yes, what are you going to excited about the fact that it's going to be Friday, it's going to be weekend tomorrow, that's right, Saturday, Sundays come up and yeah, you can think of it like a ski time because it's the last time you're going to have snow in the mountain Sierras and after it's going to melt out and become water for us to use over the summer period. But the point is, if you want to travel probably tomorrow or the day after. Because day after it's going to be raining. Today it's going to start raining. Don't leave today because today we have sunny skies outside now, but it's going to be cloudy afterwards and probably some chance of rain. How do I know all these things? Because I keep a track of what's happening on the roads and also in the weather, Pranjan. And so here goes. I'm going to share with you guys what's happening on the roads for you guys to plan your trip for the weekend.
It's time for the Bandu Traffic Update. Call us from wherever you are at 408-912-2479.
I would say, Bajan, good time for you to start on your weekend drive because all the freeways in the Bay Area are looking totally smooth and clear for you guys to enjoy. But if you're going towards Walnut Creek, other places, a little bit of a traffic hazard there on 680 northbound near the... I think it's called the Neville Avenue. That's the right lane is blocked over there. Very close by to that is a huge block of because of a traffic on North Main Street of Walnut Creek, Banjan. The left lane is affected. The backlog is like all the way at least on 2-3 blocks that side. So watch out for that. San Francisco as is going to be crowded in the morning. So I would advise you to go towards that side. Otherwise, pretty much all the other places. 880, as you know, is the cleanest freeway because it sucks every day. So the thing has already started up. We see backups coming up on 92 and also 84 for the matter.
Really?
Yeah. COVID situation is relaxing now. No, people actually feeling much more confident to step out of the house and everything because they got vaccination and all. Yeah, we already reached 25% mark. It has to go beyond 25% for us to have any kind of herd immunity, you know what, right, Panujan? So if you don't know about vaccination and you want to get more information, go get information about it. I wouldn't just tell you to go blindly take the vaccination because I respect everybody's views and everybody's beliefs that if they want to get vaccinated, they can get vaccinated. Otherwise, they're welcome to, wait it out and see what happens, right? So right now, quick look at the weather part of it. I told you already, it's kind of sunny and a little bit of clouds coming up. We probably might have some showers today. Tomorrow was supposed to be a sunny day tomorrow, but it's kind of overcast, I suppose. You have some clouds coming in, but I don't see any chance of rain over the weekend. Tuesday, supposedly, there's going to be some rain for us next week. Starting next week, probably we'll have some rain into the midweek and everything. So, tab tak ke liye, I think it's good weather for us. So, yeah, have a wonderful weekend is what I'm trying to say. And of course, Banjan, right now, what we're going to do, Banjan, is go and check out what's the headlines for us with our news in the US. Faltoni, what do you think?
Well, absolutely, Alta Baba.
Let's go. And this is the news headlines for you guys. But what's happening in the US?
U.S. Senate Democrats to offer plan to alter jobless benefits in COVID-19 aid bill. Civil rights groups urge companies to join the fight against Georgia voting restrictions. Congressman sues Trump over deadly Capitol siege, charges civil rights violation. Biden beefs up White House staff, including big tech critic Wu, and hours-long reading of the legislation delays debate on Biden's $1.9 trillion COVID-19 bill. More on all this coming up shortly.
Yes, Bajan, what's going to happen right now is we're going to jump into our Guarding Akira for you guys. Yes, if you're wondering what's the Guarding Akira for today, Bajan, no, it's not the map, but this is the Guarding Akira. Enjoy the song. This is picked up for you guys, especially from the movie called Hamras. So very old song, Bajan, but very true in terms of what the philosophy says. कीजिएगा
न मुंह छुपा के जियो और न सर झुका के जियो, न मुंह छुपा के जियो और न सर झुका के जियो। गमों का दौर भी आए तो मुस्कुरा के जियो, न मुंह छुपा के जियो और न सर झुका के जियो, न मुंह छुपा के जियो और न सर झुका के जियो। घटा में छुपके सितारे फना नहीं होते, घटा में छुपके सितारे फना नहीं होते, अंधेरी रात के अंधेरी रात के दिल में दिए जला के जियो, न मुंह छुपा के जियो और न सर झुका के जियो। गमों का दौर भी आए तो मुस्कुरा के जियो, न मुंह छुपा के जियो और न सर।
Yes, and if you're wondering who the lyricist of this particular song, I told you Sahil Ludhianvi Saab. And the music jo hai Balajan is one of the great composer called Ravi Saab. In fact, if you want to learn about lyricists, the composers, the wonderful singers who don't have so much of exposure as what the greats have had, I'm talking about Kishore Kumar, Rafi Saab and everything, who actually have had some good songs, and media also promoted them at that level that all the songs are standing out. And if you want to actually identify all these wonderful gems which are there, right? Mahimaji had started off this program almost 10, 11 years ago, Baljan. It's called Anmol Lagme. Still going on thanks to our bandhus who actually coming and doing this over here. I would really want to recognize Anna Sharmaji, who actually is one of our people who bring the particular show for you guys. In fact, it happens today at 6 p.m. Don't forget to tune into the Pam Pam show, Baljan. After the Pam Pam show, immediately you'll have Anmol Lagme coming up for you guys right here on your favorite network, Radio Hotties, airing live and local on Radio Mirchi 1310 a.m. and also on the app Radio D Hotties, available for free download on iOS and also on the Android platform. Yes, Facebook भी रहेगा आपके लिए, facebook.com/Radio D Hotties. In fact, Anmol Lagme has his own page, by the way, Father. I think people should know about that also. It's called Anmol Lagme on Radio D Hotties, right?
Right.
And abhi ke liye Banjan, let's go see what's happening with the news in detail, which you can catch up in detail also when you go to our news blog, mediamahima.com.
Want to wish all our bandhus joining us on Facebook. Ritu Verma ji, nice to see you joining us there as well. And many of our bandhus who are saying hello, good morning to every single one of you. Yes, it is Fantastic Friday. The U.S. Senate voted on Thursday to take up President Joe Biden's $1.9 trillion coronavirus aid bill, but put off the start of a contentious debate until the full text of the 628-page bill was read aloud. That's right. They waited for the whole text to be read aloud.
Yeah, filibuster, right?
The party line vote of 51-50 with Democratic Vice President Kamala Harris breaking the tie illustrated that Democrats who narrowly control the chamber can expect little, if any, Republican support. The vote on final passage could come over the weekend. Republicans, who are expected to use procedural tricks to drag out the process, began by forcing Senate clerks to read the entire bill, a process that took nearly 11 hours.
Wow.
Republican Senator Ron Johnson, who had demanded the reading, was the sole member present in the chamber through most of the evening, except for a rotating series of Democrats who served as the body's presiding officer. So they finished, you know what time, Alta Baba?
I have
they
no
finished
idea.
reading little after 2 a.m.
You know, I think they want to prove the point that the amount of money they make, they're actually worth it. So I don't know. That's why they overdo this stuff and all. My goodness.
I mean, really, can you pay attention for 11 hours at a stretch for a reading of
especially
a bill?
when you're 74 years old.
Whatever
The average age is 70 years, by the way, Bhajan. Well, thanks to Akashia, I think came. Oh, Senate is still big, older, right? Don't be young in Senate.
Yeah, I doubt if there's any. Well, there are a few, but not a lot. But either ways, liberal and moderate Democrats reached a deal that would scale back federal unemployment benefits in a COVID-19 aid bill to $300 a week from the proposed $400. A Senate Democratic aide said today. Civil rights groups, voting rights groups are calling on companies such as Coca-Cola and Delta Airlines to oppose efforts by Republican lawmakers in Georgia to enact sweeping new restrictions on voting access in the battleground state. The organizations include Black Voters Matter, the New Georgia Project, and the Georgia NAACP launched a campaign on social media and in local news outlets this week asking the corporations to take a stand against legislation that they said aims to curb turnout from Democratic-leaning black voters. Black voters were crucial to helping elect Democratic President Joe Biden in the November election and 2 Democratic senators in a January runoff in Georgia, a once unthinkable scenario in the traditionally Republican southern state. Some of these companies have made beautiful statements for Black Lives Matter, said Cliff Albright, the co-founder of Black Voters Matter, a group focused on increasing black Americans' voting access. Yet, here, in the moment where it matters the most, they have been silent. Republicans in Georgia and across the country are using former President Donald Trump's false claims of voter fraud to back state-level voting changes they say are needed to restore election integrity. So, Manuja, you know what this means, right? Even with redistricting and gerrymandering and all these things, a lot of attempts are being made to suppress the black vote. And that is why the African American community is asking corporations, big corporations in Atlanta, to take a stance. A Democratic congressman has sued Donald Trump, his lawyer Rudy Giuliani, and other allies of the former president over the deadly attack on the U.S. Capitol when violent Trump supporters tried to stop the certification of Trump's election defeat. The civil lawsuit filed in a federal court in Washington alleges that the attack, which left 5 dead, including a police officer, was a direct and foreseeable consequence of unlawful actions by Trump, Giuliani, Trump's eldest son, Don Trump Jr., Republican Congressman Mo Brooks, and others. As such, the defendants are responsible for the injury and the destruction that followed, said our very own California Congressman Eric Swalwell, who filed the lawsuit. Swalwell was one of the impeachment managers who last month attempted to persuade the U.S. Senate to block Trump from holding office ever again, saying Trump incited the violence. The Senate afterwards elected to acquit Trump. Biden is on beefing up the White House staff. He rounded out his White House staff with a host of new appointments focused on COVID-19, criminal justice, the economy, and other major issues, including a new top advisor on technology and competition issues. The White House announced 6 additional staffers to its National Economic Council, including Columbia University professor Tim Wu, who coined the term net neutrality and has warned against an economy dominated by a few giant firms. That's pretty much what we had in United States news. Altu Baba, did you want any news from the local?
Yeah, what we have is local news. There's something coming up because I do know that it's a positive scenario when it comes to the COVID situation over here in Santa Clara and also in Alameda County.
Really?
Well, what's happening around the state?
Well, I'm going to tell you in the Bay Area what's happening, Altu Baba.
Go ahead.
Travel has picked up in the Bay Area as COVID restrictions loosen. With restrictions loosening up, it looks like things are moving in the right direction, and it appears like people are looking in their attics and sweeping off the dust off of their luggage. Maybe a preview of travel this summer.
Wow.
At the beginning of the pandemic, Oakland International Airport was pretty empty, and now things are picking up around there as well as an indication of what travel will look like this summer. Let's tell you that airlines are adding flight routes. Southwest has added 70 routes since last April to add to the gradual return to the skies. Delta, United, and American Airlines are all doing the same. Travelers seem to be returning to leisure travel because COVID-19 cases are now trending downward.
Very good. So that's actually a good lead. And anything else we have in terms of our local news?
The good news is that Bay Area counties, theaters are now allowed to reopen.
Yep.
So movie lovers will finally be able to enjoy the big screen experience again. AMC theaters on Friday was set to reopen 5 locations in San Francisco and in the South Bay, and other family-owned theaters are happily scrambling to restart operations. The owner of the Cinelux Plaza in Campbell was rushing to get workers ready for the business again at that location and 2 others. So
Yeah, but of course, you remember that the theaters are going to open up, but they have strict regulations about the capacity.
yes.
I think they're operating 25% capacity right now.
Yes, yes.
That's what they're going to do. So, I don't know. You can enjoy your big blockbuster movies in the theaters right now, and I'm sure the people are going to be crowding on the place
Yeah.
just to get there. Please book in advance so you don't have to go and wait in the crowd there, Brojan. Yeah, and wear your mask.
Yeah.
Definitely. Wash your hands.
Yeah.
I don't think they serve hot popcorn anymore.
Physically distance, Manjan. One thing that we've learned is that we need to follow the guidelines and to be careful. So let's do that.
And of course, right now, Bajan, let's go quickly take a look at what's happening with the world news for you guys. Coming right up.
From the Radio Dihari studios in the Silicon Valley, these are the world news headlines. UN Security Council due to meet on the Myanmar crisis, even as protesters are again met with gunfire. Pope urges Iraqis to shun past violence and give peace a chance. Travel industry bets on vaccine passports to draw Brits to the Mediterranean. More on all this coming up shortly.
And right up, the news for you guys. The world news in detail come right up. If you miss out anything which we're going to share with you guys on Banja, you know where you're going to get it, right? You're going to get it at MediaMahima.com. So what's news, Fatmani?
Police in Myanmar on Friday opened fire on protesters against last month's military coup, killing 1 man as international condemnation rained down on the junta ahead of a United Nations Security Council meeting to discuss the crisis. The violence took place as the United States announced new sanctions targeting military conglomerates after the deaths of dozens of civilian protesters. Activists demanding the restoration of the elected government of a veteran democracy champion Aung San Suu Kyi held more demonstrations in several towns and cities, with thousands marching peacefully through the second city of Mandalay. The Stone Age is over. We are not scared just because you threaten us, the crowd chanted. And things are getting worse, and the international community is rallying together, and with the UN now discussing options to step in to address this particular situation. It is the end of the road for Hong Kong's democratic dream as China improves its voting system. Ever since Britain returned Hong Kong to Chinese rule in 1997, opposition activists have tried to bring full democracy to the city, believing that China would live up to its promise to one day allow universal suffrage to elect the city's leader. On Friday, the campaign was dealt its biggest blow. Chinese parliamentarians in Beijing unveiled details of a plan to revamp the political structure of China's freest city that critics say has all but killed off the pledge of one person, one vote. China's move comes months after a sweeping national security law was imposed on the Asian financial hub, cracking down on dissent, and more than a year after months of sometimes violent anti-China, pro-democracy protests which swept the city. There is not much we can do to effectively change what they're deciding, the head of the Democratic Party, Lo Kin-hee, told Reuters. The race to roll out vaccination passports is spurring competition among travel companies and tourist destinations for the largest number of Britons set to receive COVID-19 shots before this particular summer. Thanks to its swift vaccine deployment, Britain is the only major European country likely to inoculate a large share of working-age adults by peak season. They may become the first big regional test of digital health credentials in development. Airlines such as EasyJet saw outbound bookings from Britain surge last week as the government raised the prospect of a return to quarantine-free summer travel, and the European Union agreed to develop vaccine passports under pressure from tourism-dependent southern countries. And finally, in other world news, Pope Francis began the first trip by a pontiff to Iraq and made an impassioned call on Friday for an end to the militant violence and religious strife that has plagued the country for decades, saying peacemakers should finally be given a chance. May the clash of arms be silenced. May there be an end to acts of violence and extremism, he said, addressing Iraqi President Barham Salih, politicians and diplomats at the presidential palace. Francis arrived at the Baghdad airport under tight security after telling reporters on his plane that he felt duty-bound to make the emblematic trip because the country has been martyred for so many years. In news from India, let us tell you that the government on Friday rejected as misleading, incorrect, and misplaced a report by a US-based think tank which downgraded India's status as a free country to partly free in a point-by-point rebuttal of the report. The Ministry of Information and Broadcasting cited India's federal structure where free and fair elections are conducted in states which are ruled by different parties. This reflects the working of a vibrant democracy which gives space to those who hold varying views, the statement said. To get a full detailed report on what was the point-by-point rebuttal, you can go to mediamahima.com. Saudi Arabia ignores India's call. It's a new snub to India by the OPEC, and they tell India to use cheap oil that they bought last year. International oil prices rose after OPEC and its allies ignored India's plea to ease production control, with Saudi Arabia asking New Delhi to instead use oil it bought at rock bottom rates last year. Brent crude, the most widely used benchmark, on Friday rose 1% to $67.44 per barrel after the OPEC and its allies agreed not to increase supplies in April, awaiting more substantial recovery in demand. In a lighter vein kind of situation here in the United States, Punjab, President Joe Biden jokes that there are more Indian descent Americans who are taking over the United States.
Oh, wow.
Yes, in remarks that were described as head-turning and tone-deaf effort at levity, U.S. President Joe Biden on Thursday said Indian Americans are taking over the United States. Biden's off-the-cuff comment came during a call to NASA while speaking to Swati Mohan, NASA's guidance and controls operations head for the Mars Perseverance rover landing, and was ostensibly made in the context of the Indian American contribution in the science and technology areas. So it didn't land well with some people as expected.
It didn't land well with me also, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it actually sends a different message to people, and the base is different.
So there'll be more hate that'll be sent our way?
Mm-hmm.
Well, possibly. But you know what? It is true that the Asian American immigrants, I mean, because more and more immigrants are coming into the country, more first generation Indian Americans are being born, so, and many of them are achieving.
But the reason is that statement actually puts us in a silo, and that's what I don't like. Why do you have to call them as Indian origin Americans? Why can't just call them Americans, right?
Yeah. But they just, I think it's because you want to respect ethnicity.
No, because he's a politician and he wants the color vote. That's it.
Oh, God. Alpha Baba and his conspiracy theory.
No, it's politics. Politics. That's what they want to do. The way they control people is by dividing them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but you know what is disturbing, Alpha Baba? An update that is coming out from Maharashtra, that Maharashtra's single-day case counts now crossed the 10,000 mark.
Wow.
New cases. That's right. Maharashtra reported 10,216 new coronavirus cases on Friday, the highest number of single-day cases in nearly the last 5 months, which took its overall tally to 21,98,399, a health department official said. This is the first time since October 17, 2020, the single-day case count in the state has gone above the 10,000 mark. The state's death toll rose to 52,393, with 53 fatalities being reported as of Friday.
But that's what I keep telling you guys. It's not that the vaccination is not effective. The vaccination is effective, but the number of people who are not following the rules it is giving the opportunity for the vaccination to, the virus to mutate. In fact, yesterday, if you listen to a Good Morning, we talked about the fact that the virus has mutated to 11 different strains. 11 different varieties of COVID virus has been identified in India alone, right? In America, we found 7, there 11. So you can imagine how the population, they don't maintain that particular physical distancing, this basic stuff to keep it away from you, right? That's important. And that's why I request everybody here, though we are almost there with 25% covered in terms of the people that are getting vaccinated, there are many people yet to be done, and please maintain those masking and all those things, because there are some people who are not going to vaccinate.
Yeah.
So they're going to be bringing the virus and giving the opportunity to mutate, but we should be able to see how we can contain it with that particular population itself.
Right.
So, physical distancing, very important, masking important, wash your hands, stay healthy and be healthy.
Those were the world news headlines, including headlines and news from India.
And of course, Bajan, get all the information on newsblogmediamahima.com. That's why, Bajan, it's time for us to go into our Ganika Kira, which I'll end up for you guys. And this is a Kana which I'm watching from the movie Hamraz. A beautiful song, Bajan, written by Sahil Jani Sahab. And strung to the melodious tunes by Ravi
न मुँह छुपा के जियो और न सर झुका के जियो, न मुँह छुपा के जियो और न सर झुका के जियो। गमों का दौर भी आए तो मुस्कुरा के जियो, न मुँह छुपा के जियो और न सर झुका के जियो, न मुँह छुपा के जियो और न सर झुका के जियो। घटा में छुप के सितारे फना नहीं होते, घटा में छुप के सितारे फना नहीं होते, अंधेरी रात के अंधेरी रात के दिल में दिए जला के जियो।
Yeah, Bajan, that's what it says. Don't ever lose hope, because just around the corner there's sunlight, Bajan. And yes, that's a message I have for you guys today. And of course, Gaane Ka Keeda जो आपको है, आपको we actually play it as often as possible, ताकि आप इस message को लेके पूरे दिन आपका positive चले, Bajan. But yes, in between we have to give you the news as well. So right now, Bajan, we just share with you the news, the world news, what's happening around the world, including India and everything, Bajan. But a quick look at what's happening with the tech world coming right up.
The tech news headlines on Good Morning Bay today. Wealth managers frustrated over Bitcoin, anxious for a piece of the action. Instacart melts direct listing in a snub to IPOs. Congressional delegation heads to Alabama amid growing support for Amazon workers. Twitter explores undo send feature for paying users. More on all this coming up shortly.
And of course, Bajan, that's the tech headlines, but the tech news in detail coming up right now. And as I told you, always, Bajan, when I share the headlines for you guys, if you miss out any of the headlines, do not worry about it. Go to our news blog, mediamahima.com, or watch the video all over again on Facebook, facebook.com/Radio Dehatis. And these are the news, tech news. In detail. Bitcoin. Come on, share more.
The rollercoaster ride in Bitcoin since the start of the year has not dampened wealth manager Jim Paulson's enthusiasm for the cryptocurrency, reports Reuters. Yet Paulson, chief investment officer for Leopold Group, which manages $1 billion, cannot own Bitcoin in client portfolios due to regulatory constraints. This has left him on the sidelines, watching the world's most popular cryptocurrency surge more than 900% since its March lows in volatile trading that also saw Bitcoin lose more than 20% in the span of a few days. Paulson, who is one of the people there, says, what I like about Bitcoin is its correlation to stocks and other assets is extraordinarily independent. and it's frustrating that they cannot own it for their clients. The promise of an asset class that behaves differently than stocks or bonds is leaving portfolio and wealth managers scrambling own cryptocurrencies if they can. Many view Bitcoin as a good inflation hedge. Nearly 20% of advisors are contemplating investing in cryptocurrencies this year due to concerns about inflation, up from 6.3% in 2019, according to a report from Citi. US grocery delivery app Instacart is considering going public through a direct listing, concerned that it could leave money on the table through a traditional initial public offering, according to people familiar with the matter. The move would make Instacart the latest company to snub an IPO for decades, the primary path to a stock market debut, because it risks pricing its offering too low compared to where its shares end up trading. In a direct listing, companies go public without raising money through a stock sale. So, shares of newly listed US companies that went public through IPO ended trading up 36.2% on average on their first day last year, compared to 17.2% in 2019, according to data firm Dealogic. A group of US lawmakers will visit Amazon.com facility in Alabama on Friday, lending their support to a growing push to unionize workers at the e-commerce firm. The congressional delegation includes US Reps Andy Levin, Jamal Bowman, Cory Bush, Terry Sewell, and Nikema Williams. Workers at the Amazon Fulfillment Center in Bessemer, Alabama, are voting on whether to become the first Amazon employees to join a union. The visit comes on the heels of President Joe Biden's recent message, where he defended workers' rights to form unions. While he did not mention Amazon, he referenced workers in Alabama. And finally, remember we talked about the paid user option. So now Twitter is testing an undo send function that will give users a short time to withdraw a tweet before it is posted, the company confirmed on Friday. App researcher Jane Manchun Wong, who discovers unannounced social media features by looking at the site's code, tweeted an animation showing a tweet with a spelling error where an undo button was available before a short timer ran out. A Twitter spokesman said the feature was being tested as part of the company's exploration of how subscriptions could work on this platform. And they also said that Twitter would be testing and iterating possible paid-for features over time. Those were the tech news in detail, Banujan. For more on all of this, you can go to MediaMahima.com.
That's right, Benjan, MediaMahima.com. Yeah, a lot of things to actually keep track of, Benjan. Oh my God, so many things happening over here. So many updates coming on. For instance, everybody's waiting with bated breath for what's going to happen in the spring launch of Apple. As you guys know, Apple has been doing this thing where twice a year they launch something and all, right? They announce something coming up. So that's the tech news for you guys there. Tim Cook is going to be announcing something. There are going to be some big announcements from Apple. One of the things actually looking forward to is the 14.5 operating system of the iOS platform version for the phones, which actually has some additional security features. You want to check it out, go check it out for sure. I'll put the link for you guys in news blog MediaMahima.com. And apart from that, a ton of other things happening. And this is what I wanted to share with you guys, that the Ganiya Krida is coming up right now. We're going to be wrapping up our Good Morning a little bit early today, but anyways, you can actually enjoy the Ganiya Krida for yourselves, and we'll see you in the evening live at 5 with the Pam Pam Shabbajan. Following that, we're going to have Anmol Langme for you guys to enjoy. And all the news, if at all you missed out today, do not worry about it. Just go back to Facebook, facebook.com/Radio Dhotties. You'll find the whole video there. You can actually go back a little bit and you can actually listen to that stuff as well and enjoy. And इसी के साथ बच्चा बोलने वाला आप लोगों का have a fantastic Friday. We will see you in the evening for sure, live at 5.
मौत की अमानत हो हर एक पल की, हर एक पल की खुशी को गले लगा के जियो, ना मुँह छुपा के जियो और न सर झुका के जियो। ओ गमों का दौर भी आए तो मुस्कुरा के जियो, ना मुँह छुपा के जियो।